Tom,
Loren,
welcome back to Expurtz.
you're welcoming me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
You know, I was thinking the other day about weird words.
Weird words.
Yeah, like kumquat. You know? Weird-ass words. And one of the weirdest words I've ever... One of the weirdest-ass words I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah?
Shmup.
Where'd that come from?
You know what? Fucking stop with that shit. Shmup.
Why can't you just say shoot 'em up?
They were the original shooters. They're shooters. And you FPS kids better like it.
It's not even scrunched down well. It's like
Shmup.
If
It's
it
a
was
stupid name.
If it was Shootemups, it would be SEU.
Yeah.
Shoot 'em
SEUs.
ups. Right? Shoot apostrophe EM ups. Shoot 'em ups.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Cut this part out, but why don't we call them? Oh, okay, yeah, cut that out.
Oh wow. Okay, back to this. Loren said something very distasteful.
No. Let's get rid of that one. I'm gonna cheat right off the bat.
What?
I'm gonna cheat. So
I'm beside myself.
this is I'm gonna bring some energy to this topic because I love shmups.
Of course you do.
I love shooters. So I can't do one honorable mention. I have to have two. My one honorable mention.
Okay.
I played it on PlayStation, but it was arcade in '95. But I played it on the PlayStation 96.
Okay.
Made by Atlas and Cave.
Oh, okay. I know the Atlas company.
It's Donpachi.
Okay, no,
Or,
I've never heard
I
of
believe
this
it's
one.
Donpatch. Is how
Donpatch.
Japanese folks.
Never heard of it.
So it's a vertical scrolling. Atlas approached Cave and they wanted to capture the spirit of like those like Toaplan games that were in the arcade at the time.
Okay.
They were known for incredible shooters like Tiger Heli 2.
I do know Tiger.
Which we would know as, I believe, Twin Cobra. So,
well, there was Tiger Heli on original Nintendo.
yes, but it was like a terrible knockdown version of the arcade,
yes.
right? They had a GPS, get point system.
So does it kind of look like Choplifter 3?
No, I mean, it looks like those early 90 arcade vertical shooters, right?
Yep.
The
sorry,
get
I was
point
thinking
system,
horizontal, so this is vertical.
Yeah, it's vertical shooter,
okay.
yeah. Essentially, it's like a time-limited combo system. Risk-reward, right? So delaying, you would leave one enemy just long enough to get more enemies on the screen so that you could keep a combo going, but that enemy could kill you, right? Because the longer you leave enemies on screen, the more bullets start showing up, right? This is kind of like the early days of bullet hell. So there was 5 areas. There's classic loop system, so you go through the 5 areas and you go back to the first area, but the enemies start throwing like twice as many bullets out, and it's like how many loops can you do? It was just the style at the time. It was it was kind of like bragging rights. Like I made the 3rd loop, I made the 4th loop.
Because that's kind of like what 1942 and 43 did.
Yeah, but well, it just kept making the same shitty levels. I'm not knocking 42. 42 was phenomenal.
Okay.
Like it has its place in history, right? Yeah. This was more of a quick 5 levels, frenetic action, and then you went right back to level 1, but even more frenetic.
Okay.
So it was more bragging rights to see how many loops you could go. There was like a ranking system, right? And like you started 0, but it would go like 1, and the enemies would fire a little bit faster. Not more bullets, but like faster bullets. Tough.
So did you just basically only play this on PlayStation? You never played this on arcade?
I never played it in arcade. No. Well, we have like full disclaimer, right? For Tom and I, like the area we grew up in, you wouldn't have seen many like Japan-specific shooters,
that's
like Donpatch or one that I might be talking about in a little bit here.
Okay.
But you could do 2 different types, or like 3 different types. Type A, B, or C plane, right?
Okay.
So Type A was like narrow shot, fast charge, Type B was like a mid-speed, mid-shot, and then Type C was like the slowest, but it had a big wide shot.
Oh, that's usually my favorite.
Right,
one.
so like you can't dodge shit, but you can kill them before they can have a chance to shoot at you, right? Like that kind of idea. There was 2 types of bombs. They released a Hong Kong version.
What does that mean?
Which is like what in Hong Kong arcades,
Oh.
and it was essentially impossible.
Okay.
Like they made it so hard that you couldn't even make it through one loop.
Wow.
So it was a quarter muncher, right?
Okay.
My other honorable mention.
Okay. That's fair. I feel like you're allowed to do this every once in a while, but don't go stealing my gimmick, brother.
No, stealing your thunder blade.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Thunder Force. You've played this one.
Okay.
I know you've played this one. We've played it together.
Oh.
At our favorite
Is
brew.
this analog brewing? Or are we talking about Arcadium?
No, analog
brewing. Okay.
It's Yuang Squadron, but I'm
fucking love this
specifically
game.
talking about the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah, of
because I
They have to
don't
make-
give a shit. It's so much better than the arcade.
It's one of those rare instances where Super Nintendo did make a better copy of an arcade game, which does happen from time to time.
And they were both Capcom.
Yeah.
Right. This one specifically came out September '91, so pretty early on in the Super Nintendo. Phenomenal game.
It is.
I happily wasted a birthday present on this, and couldn't be happier. Side-scrolling 3 characters.
Who are you?
I always Shin.
Okay.
Right. But Greg was also cool because
Fat mustache guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'cause
that's who I was.
He could survive more hits.
And he was the coolest plane. The A-10 Warthog.
Oh yeah.
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 In my opinion.
I mean, like the air to ground on that was just
the best.
fantastic.
Yeah.
There's 6 different planes. Like he just talked about the A10, the A10 Warthog.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. 5th and 6th plane were only good with Shin.
That's right.
Because Mickey and Greg could only max out at 5 POW, but Shin could go to 7.
Yeah.
Right. So Shin had way bigger shots.
I keep forgetting that some of the characters have different attributes than the others. In this
Yeah.
game.
Like Mickey was, I think Mickey upgraded faster, but Shin could go higher.
Yeah.
Like Shin's max POW was 2 more than Greg.
You could
and
go
Mickey.
Super Saiyan?
7 items, so there were 6 hidden, so you could fire on these items and they would just magically show up in the middle of the screen, right? Including one that like totally refilled everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there was the star, it was $50,000, right, that you could spend on weapons.
That's right, because there's a
Chun-Li was secret item.
because there's a store in between each stage in this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the coolest part is whatever you bought, if you didn't use it, you got a refund at the end of the level.
Yeah.
So just buy everything, man. Screw it.
Fuck yeah.
Minigun would reload everything. Pinwheel would give you full health. The unicorn would give you a shield for like 10 seconds. So you would pick up that unicorn and then just fucking kamikaze into everybody.
Hell yeah.
Screw it. 10 levels plus all the truck mini stages, which anybody knows I would abuse the shit out of those so that I could save up my $1 million to buy the last plane.
Hell yeah.
Love that game.
What was the last plane in that one again?
I can't remember the name of it, but it was like the stealth, essentially. The stealth fighter.
Okay.
Very cool black jet.
Yeah.
Just, I thought the graphics were phenomenal for me. Because this was the jump from like NES and we had Genesis at the time, but I don't know. There's something about I literally sat there and just would take the plane up and down just to see the wing dip on it. I was pretty easy to please back then.
It's all the little things, you know.
Yeah. Phenomenal game.
I agree.
Yep. That's my 2 honorable mentions.
And that's allowable. That's allowable.
Thank you. Thank you.
My honorable mention, and I'm talking about the arcade variant for this, because you can play 2 players on the arcade. And that is Aero Fighters.
Aero Fighter. What a great game.
Yeah. Great, awesome, fucking fun. Beautiful vertical shooter. You can pick from 8 pilots. I always pick Spanky, the dolphin. Spanky. Because there's a dolphin you can use as a character in this game. And You can represent one of 4 nations: USA, Japan, Sweden, and UK. Each have their own different planes, which is very cool. Okay.
Quick side note.
Yeah.
Yes or no? Just a yes or no. Echo the Dolphin.
No.
Thank you. It's a shitty game.
It's a crappy game. This one, on the other hand, it's a beautiful game. Lots of enemies, cool big plane bosses at the end, like tanks and a space shuttle. Oh yeah, the last boss is a space shuttle that releases a monkey.
I'm okay with it.
It's a space monkey, right? And the music, it's okay. It's nothing to write home about, but this one on the arcade was so much fun, especially if you had 2 players playing it, that you wanted to beat this. And it was just like, it was a tough vertical shooter. This was not an easy game to beat.
No.
But it was such a beautiful game, and every single boss in this, you just wanted to kill them all. You wanted to keep going. It was so much fun. I loved Aero Fighters.
Yep.
It was also fun on the Super Nintendo, but this one specifically, I'm talking about arcade.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is just something about the arcade sound effect of going like whooping, bing, bing, bing. Whenever you penetrate like a plane's armor, it's really, really cool. My number 5, and it's one that not a lot of people probably played, and I wouldn't even call it a sleeper. You know, it's Star Soldier: Vanishing Earth on the N64. Yeah, I know, because not a lot of people heard about this one.
Don't think I've ever played it.
It was made by Hudson Soft in '98.
Okay, they're
released
bangers.
December. So it was a Christmas game, and it didn't even do that good.
No.
But you know what was cool? This was
98?
98?
98.
This, to me, was the first 3D vertical shooter game I've ever played.
Okay.
So, it's fun gameplay. Not too much going on in this game, though. I did own it. The bosses are big and nice looking at the end of each level. There's 7 levels, 3 bonus stages. You can pick from 3 ships with their own types of weaponry. There's 7 big bosses, 34 different enemies. It's a decent game, decent music. It's meh, but I played it a lot because I owned it.
Yeah.
So if ever you want to play a vertical 3D shooter on the N64, Star Soldier: Vanishing Earth.
Okay.
But again, if I would have rented this one, I probably would have brought it back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like something
It's
to hold you
amazing
over.
the value you find out of something you have to. You know.
Yeah.
I get that.
So yeah, that's my number 5.
See, if our parents are listening, you should be proud of us because we
Know the value of a dollar?
we squeezed value out of these games that we had no choice to.
Yeah. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is probably the newest game on the list. Yeah, it is. It is developed by Taito. Taito or Taito?
I normally say Taito, but
Okay.
that's a great game company, so this has to be a good game.
It came out originally on Saturn.
Okay.
And I did not play it on Saturn. Like December-ish, 96.
96?
I played it on PS4
What?
in 2020. I believe 2021 it came out on PS4.
Is this fucking Radiant Silvergun again?
No.
I thought that's what it was going to be. Radiant Silvergun.
That's upcoming. This is Darius Gaiden.
Oh, I like that.
So-
sorry. I'm thinking about Darius Twin.
Darius Twin on Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
Darius Twin was a specific game for Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
and it was very good.
Yes.
And look, these are the same games over and over and over again.
Is there still fishes in
the
this one?
world is being eradicated by fish.
Okay. Yeah.
Fish enemies.
Fish and what what do you call them? Undersea mammals?
They're specifically called the Belsar Empire.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
My
Thank you.
apologies. Jeez.
So Darius is like the new human safehold, if you're ever curious why the name Darius. But there's 28 stages total in this game, but you can only play 7 at a time. Because when you beat the level, you like scroll to the top. It's a side-scrolling shooter, by the way. You scroll to the top or you scroll to the bottom of the screen, and
So
then
horizontal.
Did I say horizontal?
Yeah,
side
side-scroller,
scroll.
same
Yeah,
thing, yeah.
horizontal shooter.
Yeah.
So you would go to the top of the screen or bottom of the screen because it splits, and then
Okay,
you go to the
I
next
like when
level.
games do
So
that, yeah.
kind of think like Star Fox.
Yeah.
Like you play level A and then you go to B or C.
Mm-hmm.
which then goes like B will split to D or E,
Yeah.
C will go to F or G, and so on and so forth. So you only go through 7 levels, but there's 28 total. So you get like replayability like crazy off this game, right? What else? We got very, very fish themed. Very.
Yeah.
That's in my notes.
I mean, with a name like Darius.
So, the bosses they're not just like, shoot, and dodge. There's specific weak points on every boss.
So they still kept that around.
Yes. So it's not just, keep shooting the body kind of thing. Like, you have to specifically target, like, the claw, or, like if it's a big crab boss. It's the claw, and then it's the eyes, and then, like, it's like 2 or 3 stages of weak points. So a little bit more, depth to the boss fights. Mini boss orbs can be collected to temporarily aid you with, like, extra firepower. And then the music, fuck, man. Like, so they had a house band.
Nice.
I think they were called Zunata, and it literally kicks ass, man. It's kick-ass.
I'm gonna have
soundtrack.
to check this out.
I played it on PS4. I think it's out for Switch and PS4.
But it was a Sega Saturn game.
Originally a Saturn game.
Okay.
Yeah. They worked hard to like sync the music to the gameplay, so it just really gets you into it, man. Like,
I forget Saturn. That was S Video out, or did it also have RCA out?
no, Saturn had S Video.
S Video. Yeah,
Well,
that's
no,
right.
like it wasn't only S Video. You could
Yeah.
do one or the other.
One
right?
or the other. Yeah.
I just use an S Video
Yeah.
cable. It was 3DO that was only S Video.
That's right. Okay.
Fucking 3DO.
What a terrible fucking. We'll have to talk about that system one of these days.
Darius Gaiden. Number 4 is. This was a reason to own a Sega Genesis.
Okay.
This should narrow it down real quick.
Uh,
Made by Technosoft. January 1993.
Thunderblade.
Oh, so close.
Fuck! I never owned a Genesis. Thunder Force.
Thunder Force 4.
Yes. Okay. And the music for this is actually not bad.
Great sounding game.
Yeah.
Even better looking.
Yeah.
Phenomenal graphics.
That's
on
the one
this. with.
with the cool helicopter on the cover, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So. No, that's Thunderblade.
That is Thunderblade.
That's Thunderblade.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
Thunder Force is like.
What's Thunder Force?
It's a side scroller. It's not really space themed. Like, it's the background.
It's like the R type of Genesis.
Kinda.
Okay.
But like, fuck. Like, it's beautiful. It's simply beautiful. Like, I'm trying to think back, like, in the 16-bit era, this looked better than a lot of arcade games.
Wow.
Like, it was, man. You'll see when you're.
They must
because
have used
he
that
always puts
blast
video overlay on
processing.
the. Like, you're gonna see all the blasting of the processing, all the blasting. 10 stages, but the first 4 are like Mega Man style. So you
that's quite a couple
choose whichever one you
stages.
want, right?
Okay.
It's a side scroller, but the screen can move like up or down, kind of like UN Squadron.
Okay.
You have like limited up and down scrolling.
Yeah.
But it's a side scroller. It's a horizontal. Shields, satellite ships they're also like cycling through weapons you've collected. So it's got that like Gradius kind of thing, like later half of the game you can use the Thunder Sword, but only if you have 2 satellite ships. So the Thunder Sword is kind of like reminiscent of my favorite game ever, where you have the sword that you can swing out in front of you.
Yeah.
It's a little overpowered, but who cares, man? Because the game is fucking hard, man. Balls hard. If you haven't played Thunder Force 4, you need to.
I'll have to check this one
It's
out.
fantastic.
Illegally through ROMs and.
Ooh.
Nerd.
Nefariously. That's my number 4. Can't recommend it enough, man.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I dig it.
That's it.
My number 4 is 1942 for original Nintendo.
Beautiful.
And you know why.
Yeah.
You know, it's just...
It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, and this technically was my very first shoot-'em-up. This was my very first vertical shooter I've ever played.
Might be me too.
This is the very first one. And, you know, you fly a little dinky plane, but you know what's cool? If you wanted to dodge a bunch of bullets, you can loop and then get away from all the danger, and then you loop back, and hopefully the bullets aren't there anymore. Which was, to me, the first game you could really... Well, it was the first vertical or any shoot 'em up I ever did, and it's the first game I'm like, what? You can dodge all the bullets? That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
You can do a big bomb to get rid of everyone on the screen if you want, you know. I thought that was nice. What I found interesting is that in this, it takes place during... So, the Japanese had to change this for American market, because in this, what theater war do you think this is during?
Uh-huh.
It's during the Pacific Theater, and then you basically want to bomb fucking Japan by the end of the damn game.
Yeah.
So they literally implemented that, and this was technically Capcom's very first hit ever.
Really?
This was Capcom's first million seller.
Okay.
And it was to appease the North American audience.
Yes.
And which is odd because, like, I don't think this ever happened in any other video game, period, where it's like Japanese making a game where you have to kill a bunch of Japanese by the end of it. You know, made by the Japanese to kill Japanese.
Yeah.
For the Americans.
I guess, eh?
In the 80s. Anyway, they had cool bosses. Like, you had the big 1942 for original Nintendo. Reach Tokyo. Destroy the shit out of the Japanese air fleet. Bomb the goddamn Japanese. Beat the game. Make America happy. 1942. That's my number 4.
Cool.
My number 3... Coincidentally enough, it's called R-Type 3. The Third Lightning. And it's for the SNES.
Super.
It's made by Tamtex.
Super Nin slowdown.
It's... Son of a bitch.
It's got a bit of a slowdown issue.
You can pick from either the Shadow Force or the Cyclone Force, which is a first thing for R-Type, where you can actually pick from 2 different ships for once.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a first. They both have new different weapon sets and special enhancements. You can change back to the original charging system of the game, which is red, blue, and yellow, which is cool.
This was kind of like an answer to Gradius, kind of going that multi-ship route.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And then there's a cool down period when using hyper mode, so, you know, you don't be a stingy fuck and be patient. There's a cool down.
Yep.
Be patient. Just wait. It'll get there. Fuck, man. 1 or 2 players. Very cool for an R-Type game.
Yeah.
1 or 2 players. 6 massive levels, 6 badass bosses. Level 4, okay? The boss on level 4 is called the Reconjunator Creature 666. How fucking metal is that?
Yeah, that's pretty death.
Okay. Ikuko Mimori nailed the soundtrack, and rightfully so. She was the main in-house composer for Tamtex, which would later become Irem. In 94, Pow, she joins Koei, and doesn't like that she does less composition and is more in charge of sound effects and arrangements. So she left she left and joined HAL Labs. She got around. I should stop, or this may turn into a audio episode. But anyway, it's great music. It's like a 7.5 out of 10 for me. It's like a mix between F-Zero and Darius Twin. That's how I would say the soundtrack is.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah. But I love R-Type 3 because, like, you know what? You play R-Type, play Super R-Type,
yeah.
R-Type 2, R-Type 3. You think it's just going to be a couple more levels, but they just redefined the game a bit.
Yeah.
You know, they added some cool features, and it really paid off. The cover is really shitty looking.
Yeah,
but
it's
a good game.
Yep.
Like, I feel
but
like...
also, was it not... It was very early on, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 93.
Oh, no, okay, that was a little further on. Which game am I thinking of?
Well, they made Super Nintendo games up until 98 or further, so...
Yeah, but it came out in 90. I thought it was close to the launch, but
yeah,
for some stupid
Super
reason.
R-Type was the first
Super
year.
R, that's the one I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Right.
And the cover's way better than this one.
Yes.
But anyway, that's my number 3. How about you, good sir?
My number 3 is... I hope you download it right after this episode.
Okay.
It's freeware.
Okay.
On Windows.
Wow.
Came out in 2007. It is called...
2007.
Google it and download it now.
Genettos freeware.
Yes. So it's an evolution-themed game. So it was made by one guy, Tetsuya Koyama. So level 1 is a Space Invaders clone.
What the
Okay, so it's like single screen. You're a little ship at the bottom, and the enemies are coming down, right?
Okay.
But so every stage evolves once you collect like 800 or 1,000 gems. Okay, so every time you shoot an enemy and kill it, it drops a gem, and you want to collect these gems. Okay.
What if you don't?
Well,
What if you
then
don't
it
collect
just
the
keeps
gems?
going.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Right?
okay.
So you want to collect them
To
because
get to the next level.
yeah.
Okay.
So at 800 you evolve, and then at 1,000 you fight a boss. So the first game,
Interesting.
like the first level, you're doing Space Invaders, right? And then when you get to 800 gems, all of a sudden the screen starts scrolling, and it becomes a vertical shooter, but like a very early, like bare bones 1942ish, right? But it's all space themed, vertical scrolling shooter.
It's space themed, but it's evolution.
You evolve
Evolve.
into the next like generation of shooters.
Okay.
Okay. So then Gen 2, like the half screen movement, right? Gen 3, you pick up bombs and it starts scrolling, getting like a little bit more bullet hell. Generation 4, it's full blown bullet hell.
Okay.
You get like a tri weapon, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then like you start picking up like, you know, the fanning shot, the laser, stuff like that, right? Generation 5 is the final level. It is clearly Radiant Silvergun inspired. Like it is a love
Why
story.
am I not surprised now why you like
It's a
this
Radiant
game?
Silvergun, right? It's a story-based final boss, so it's like you just have to survive, and it's like shoots 1,000,000 bullets out, but also gems. And the whole point of the final boss is to collect like 999 gems,
Holy shit.
and he dies, right? But so that in that is what I'm saying. It's like 100% Radiant Silvergun ripoff, because that game's final boss, you can't kill it. The whole point is just to survive 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Way easier said than done. Way hard boss, man. It is very cool idea to have a game that kind of goes through 5 different generations of shooter. I can't recommend this game enough. It's super fun, man. Genettos. Windows. My number 2 is the best shooter ever made.
Well, why isn't it number 1?
You fucking know why. So my number 2, it's developed by Rising. Came out Saturn, February 1998.
Saturn again? I'm not surprised.
Saturn was a hotbed
Yeah,
for
yeah.
amazing shooters, man. TurboGrafx 16 was too, but none of them made my list for some reason.
Weird.
The original was arcade. Came out February 96. This also came out on PS4 in December 2016. Xbox One. I'm looking at you right there on the mantle. It came out 2017. The game is called Battle Garega. Battle
Is that a typo?
Garega.
Garega?
Yeah.
So not Galaga?
No.
Garega.
Garrega. Battle Garega.
Okay.
So it's objectively the best vertical shooting ever. There's no question. It's the best. You must play it. You get 4 planes to choose from. You get 4 secret characters you can unlock by inputting a very, very, very close to Konami code. Okay. Very, very, very close. Like it, like literally be down, down, up, up instead of up, up, down, down. It's very open-ended in how you can go about getting through the levels. So it's almost like a sandbox vertical shooter. It's a very cool idea.
Okay.
So you have this thing called the rank graph on PS4 and Xbox, not in the original arcade. It slowly gets harder and harder if you survive longer. So the game is clearly designed for arcade, where the longer you last, the harder the game gets. Because fuck you in your quarters. That's why.
Yeah.
So you almost want to die on purpose going into the bosses to make the bosses easier,
I see.
right? Very difficult game, man. Very difficult. It's
Don't you
not.
think that's kind of a cop out a bit?
It's not. Well, they want your quarters, bro.
Okay, that's fair.
They want
Yeah.
your quarters, but
That's
I want to beat the game. So,
Yep.
it's not a space shooter. It's like a Vietnam War kind of
Okay. Yeah.
vibe to it. But there's an option in the option screen to make enemy bullets brighter. Oh, click it. You turn it on because you're fucked otherwise, man. This game is hard.
Okay.
And the bullets aren't very bright. Like they're kind of like grayish.
Yeah.
So you got to choose the option to make them like neon, and then the game's a lot easier.
So Garega.
Battle Garega.
Okay.
That is objectively the best shooter I've ever played.
Okay.
But it's not my number one. What's your number two?
My number 2. Made by Jellicoe for Super Nintendo. Talking about Earth Defense Force. I love this game.
Fair.
I fucking love this game. It's one of the prettiest horizontal shooters I've ever played still to this day.
Yep.
I love the music that Tsukasa Tawada made. He's the one that made the music for Dragon Quest 3 and 7, a bunch of Pokemon and Harvest Moon games. So this was his first shot at music, and it's a upbeat, like prog metal style soundtrack.
Okay.
I love it. The SNES version is single player only because this was on the arcade, and the arcade was 2 players. Not a lot of people thought this came out on the arcade. It did. So
we'll have to look for it at our favorite place.
are we talking about Analog Brewing?
Analog Brewing.
The SNES version had a one-up, though, in the way that for the SNES, they added selectable weapons and improved the graphics, which is pretty badass.
Yeah.
For a Super Nintendo game, they upgraded the graphics from the arcade.
Very cool.
That's cool. The leveling system is a player gains experience from defeated enemies to gain newer, more powerful versions of the weapon you currently have.
Okay.
It's 6 very long levels, and there's 8 upgradable weapons. So that means a lot of replayability.
Very cool.
And Earth Defense Force, the cover looks good. Just a classic side You know it's a side-scroller game.
Yeah.
As soon as you look at the cover.
It's not some
no mistake.
fucking guy with a banjo.
It's not like Phalanx. Yeah, it's not a guy with a banjo and a little tiny itty bitty ship on the corner.
Oh, what's that in the background? The whole game.
If you never played Earth Defense Force, I highly suggest it. This was one of the first Super Nintendo games that I ended up buying for Super Nintendo.
Ah, very cool.
Because, again, the year is 1991. This is one of the first ones we bought out of a bargain bin for $20 in 91.
Yeah. I was too busy banging away on UN Squadron,
My number one, it should come as to no surprise. Do you want to guess what it is?
Yes, but I think I'm going to get it right. So, if I was to talk in this game, would it sound like...
It is Star Fox 64.
Thank you.
It came out in 97. You can shut my ass up, and at the same time, you can tell Slippy to shut the fuck up too.
No, it's a rail shooter, so it totally counts.
Lots of people would disagree.
No, it's a rail shooter.
Yeah.
It totally counts.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I think you're just being lenient with me here.
No, I would count it.
Okay.
I would absolutely count it. And it's a phenomenal game.
This game...
It's a remake, essentially, of the original, but I think it was because
it had to be
even
remade.
as groundbreaking as Star Fox was on the Super Nintendo, they realized pretty quickly it could have been better.
Yeah.
And they got a second chance at it on the on the Nintendo 64, and they put it out of the park, baby.
So, wrestling games aside, 4-player games aside, and this surprised me when I came to this conclusion, I think this is actually my number 1 N64 game. This is my top one game.
I couldn't refute that.
Like, I remember playing this as a kid, okay, when it came out, and I beat it, but not the full way. I beat it with like the cheap Andross boss. You know what I mean? And I was like, cool, I beat the game.
So not like the third loop.
No.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't take me until literally like when I met Sam, so like 3 years ago or whatnot, to actually beat the game
Proper ending, yeah.
Full proper. And you know what? When I beat it then, I was like, whoa, I got a 500 point score. I did so great. And I had no idea just how many different ways you could rack up points. Now I think I'm at like 12 or 1,300 point, like top scores, like 12, 1,300. And you know, when I looked up what other people were doing, they're doing this odd shooting pattern where they're gaining an extra 2 points or whatever per enemy.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you just don't blast the enemy with a shot. It's like a quick double tap shot, and it gains you a lot more fucking points, man.
Oh, yeah.
And like, dude, it's once you beat this game full blown mode, you get to unlock hard difficulty on Star Fox, and that I don't know how people are fucking beating that.
No,
I really don't know how they're doing that.
Like, that's literally F-Zero GX level.
Yeah.
Like that's like expert mode, man.
I can't believe
we're experts with a Z. We're not experts.
I feel like if I were to go back on my N64 list, I think I might have to pick this one as my number one game now.
We gotta go back and we have to revisit that episode.
Yeah,
for sure.
But
I agree.
Yeah, Star Fox 64. That's my number one shoot 'em up.
Do you want to guess what my number one is?
I know what it is because it always is your fucking number one every single time. It has to do with shooting. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Radiant Silvergun for Saturn.
Absolutely, sir. Developed by Treasure, and boy are they.
You should be getting money every single time you say Treasure at this point.
Because they don't exist anymore. Treasure. So Arcade came out May 98. Saturn was Japan only.
Yeah.
July 98. Xbox 360. Live Arcade
and
came
Switch.
out September 2011.
Right.
Switch came out 2022. Windows came out last year.
Oh, so they released it on Windows as well?
Yes, November 23rd.
Which one do you think is superior, the Switch version or the Windows version? Did you play the Windows version?
I have not played the Windows version.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're all the Xbox Live Arcade version.
Okay.
Which gives you some very cool things on the side of the screen.
Now, when you say Xbox Live Arcade, are you talking about the original Xbox or the 360?
No, 360.
360.
Like when the Live Arcade was launched in like whatever it was, 2007 or whatever.
Yeah.
A
little before that, but yeah.
This came out like 2011.
Okay.
Further on, but no, it was a 360. So you have your vertical screen, right? And it's vertically oriented. So think arcades. You had like the screens flipped on the side. So in the Live Arcade release, and then every subsequent release, you have like information on the sides, and it tells you like what level your 7 weapons are, your combos currently going, your score, all that, right? Combos are massive in this game. Can't stress enough how vital learning how to combo 3 of the same color, like chaining all your enemies together. So like sometimes you'll have like 30 enemies on the screen, but you want to pick them off 3 at a time while dodging bullet hell. Like it's an extremely hard game. But is anybody surprised?
No.
Like at this point, anybody listening knows. So you get your 6 guns and then a sword, right? The sword is any pink shots that come towards you, the sword can absorb them. And then when you charge up a full blast, you can do like a screen smashing attack kind of thing, and you're invincible while that attack is happening.
Yeah.
So this game was kind of when fighting games were starting to fall out of favor.
Yeah.
And the arcades were dying.
So 98, 99.
Like they were... 97 was a bleak time
Yeah.
for arcades, and not just here where we didn't even have one anymore, everywhere. Like, you know, Street Fighter 422, you know, version of Street Fighter 2, or, you know,
my favorite one is Street Fighter 420.
Street Fighter the movie, the game.
I forgot about that one.
The game. But like everything was starting to fall apart, right? And this game single-handedly revitalized arcades. Like, it's the game that sparked a massive influx of shooters going to the arcades, a massive influx of people going back to arcades with those white, like Japanese white arcade boxes, where they just swap out the boards.
The boards, yeah.
This was one of the first ones. Like, this is the one that sparked all of that. They recruited like the top high score regulars across the country to come in secret and test this game before it came out.
Wow.
To tell them, like, what do we need? And the feedback was nothing. This game is phenomenal.
Wow,
so,
really? Unanimously.
Like, just phenomenal game. So Hitoshi Sakamoto. I can't say enough about that guy's name. If you don't know the music in this game, you'll know the next game he did, which is Final Fantasy Tactics.
What everybody swears by.
Probably a legendary soundtrack.
Yeah.
I think you would maybe put that in like top 10 soundtracks for video games. Hiroshi Inuchi was the director, so some of his other works: Korth, Aliens, Simpsons, Gunstar Heroes, Alien Soldier, Ikaruga, which is the sequel to this game, and many consider it the greatest shooter ever made. That's the black and white mechanic where you can change your ship.
You talked to me about this game before.
Ikaruga is insanely fun and fast, and kind of the same idea. You don't just survive; you go for high score in that game. Sin and Punishment, which we finally got on, I think, the Virtual Console, but also I think the Switch has it. Combo of art style, music, weapons, score system. It may not be the best shooter, but it's my favorite by a mile. And I think the complete package of it, the incredible music, the art, that 3D background with a 2D, it's the pinnacle to me. It'll never be touched. It's the greatest shooter I've ever played.
It doesn't surprise me.
That's 100% my number one.
It keeps coming back, and it's for a reason.
And I'm gonna make you play it. You'll understand. It's like the first level, you'll just be like, "Holy shit!" This is such a polished package.
Well, maybe one of these days we'll go to analog, and if it's on there, I'll have to give it a shot.
I'll have to have a look. I don't think it is.
Maybe at Arcadium?
No.
So
no.
This is gonna definitely have to be
this is a home
go
console.
Over to Loren's place and knock it off.
Which I have the OG Saturn disc.
Well, if you're gonna do it right, you may as well do it the original way.
Yes, sir. I'm just thinking about Radiant Silvergun now.
Something about Radiant Loren gun. I mean, where'd that come from?
That'll work. That'll do. So, that's our list. I'm sure we forgot one. I'm sure, like, all the TurboGrafx incredible games, like Blazing Lasers. There were some incredible Super Nintendo ones, like Axelay we didn't even touch.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, it is. Jeez. We could do another top 5. But you're going to have to tune in another time.
Yeah. Join us again for another episode of The Expurtz.
Expurtz.
Bye, everyone.